It's on. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. Here we are, folks. Back live again here in my kitchen. Temporary Meeting 2 studio.
With episode number 5.
Episode 5. We're out to number 5 now. Amazing. Can't believe it's already been that long. But we're going to do a little update, catch up on what we did this past week, and then bring in our special live top secret number 1 guest. We're thrilled to have, too. But anyway.
Be our first guest on the show.
Number 1. All right, well.
Let's see.
Go ahead and tell us what, get us started. What was we doing?
Well, Friday, I came down to Birmingham and met with you at Mark's Outdoors for their little turkey kickoff. And let's see.
Nasty day.
Yeah, super nasty. Several people there, though.
Oh, yeah. We came down really especially to meet up with our buddies at Legacy Premium Game Calls. William, the owner, he was there, set up with, had him some help there. I don't know. I saw the turkey man himself.
Jimmy Primos.
Yeah, Jimmy Primos. Woodhaven was there. Mike with Woodhaven was running around. It was a full house there till about lunch. A lot of turkey calling going on. No seminars or any that kind of thing. But I thought it was I had a good time. Kind of died off, after lunch. I guess everybody had to go back to work. I know I did. So.
And the weather was just getting worse.
Yeah,
and
the
worse.
weather was. If you live here in Alabama like we do, you know how the weather was. I think we got 3 or 4 inches of rain over that day and night. It was just nasty. But we did that. Spent the day with them. I don't think I bought one thing there other than lunch. Did you buy anything? Yes,
Yeah.
you did.
Yeah.
Am I supposed to say anything? I mean, I know Laura listens to this kind of stuff every now and then. You need to prep me on some of this before I start running my mouth about things you buy. At least it wasn't something super expensive.
Yeah, I mean, I bought a Legacy tube call.
Tube call?
Tube call.
I thought you bought a
And I bought a gangrene
aluminum pot. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
I didn't even know you bought the tube call. He's supposed to be sending. I've got a tube call here somewhere. I've got to find it.
Yeah, he's supposed to be sending us some extra latex for those.
But anyway, we had a good time there, and
I brought a friend with me, had Dale with me. He enjoyed it.
he looked like he enjoyed it. We'd be off shooting the breeze with Eddie or somebody, Mark Brenner or somebody. We'd be talking. I'd turn and look, and your buddy's over there just laughing it up, having a good old time with William. And
Yeah, he called his son that evening. It was like, man, that was so much fun. So, he just started turkey hunting with us last year, so he's pretty stoked.
He's a new turkey hunter.
Yeah, he hunted last year for his first year and missed one. He called one in and missed it last year.
He's a little older than us, so he's a late bloomer.
Yeah, he loves being in the woods and, of course, spending time with the boys,
Yeah, well, there you go. It's just never too late to get started. And once you start, you get hooked.
That's right.
But anyway, I guess we both kind of headed home around 2 o'clock, somewhere in there. I didn't head home. I mean, I headed back to work, and you headed back toward your house. I guess you had to drop him off. And you're like me. You're on your own business, so you're never off work. So, but we had made plans. We were going to get up early Saturday morning. I think I had to be at your house. Well, we wasn't that early. It was going to be extra early if we had decided to go on over to Mossy Oak. Man, I wanted to do that so bad.
Me too. I regret that just a little bit, not going.
Well,
but we'll put it on the calendar.
We're going to do it next year for sure. Yeah. Should have done it, but we'd have never had the time to do. And look, I think scouting the turkeys is more important. I don't know when we would have got back up there, if we'd have got up there, and we certainly needed to be in Tennessee.
Yeah. I mean, we rode up to Savannah, and there's 6,200 acres there to look at, and it was a nasty day for it, but we made the best of it.
Terrible day. Cold, rainy.
Wind blowing.
Wind blowing. It was one thing after another. We did see a few tracks. Kind of got a lay of the land anyway. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to giving it a shot up there anyway.
Yeah, me too. I mean, it's got a lot of different habitat. I mean, if you wanted, it's there.
Yeah.
So,
Man, some big fields, some little small fields, little pockets of hardwoods, real thick in some places. You know, it's just something that's different.
yeah.
We got our work cut out for us if we're going to get us a turkey apiece up there.
Yeah, there's some real good nesting habitat, I will say that. For the hens. So,
And then we kind of pulled out of there, rode through town, rode through Savannah to kind of scope that out to where we might get us a room when we come up there or come down there if we leave Kentucky or something and come through. Anyway, we blew out of there and then another 2.5 hours
yeah, I think it was about 2.5.
north through the backwoods of Tennessee and Kentucky to Cadiz. I guess that's how you pronounce that, isn't it?
Yeah, Cadiz, Kentucky. It was pretty cool getting to come between or go through the land between the lakes.
You know, I've never been through there till this trip, and it was beautiful.
Beautiful.
That makes me want to go try to hunt it some.
Well, we're close enough. We could.
We could. I think you just got to apply for a permit to get in there and hunt, and then have all the other proper licenses. But beautiful bridges, beautiful lake, big hardwoods all the way through there, and then of course we roll into Cadiz. Pretty much too late to do anything that evening. We checked it into a little motel. Went and got us a big old bowl of some kind of Mexican something good. I don't know. I can't remember the name of it. You're great with them names. I wasn't. All I know is it tasted good last year and it tasted just as good this year.
Yeah. I tell you, that place can put some food out quick, though. There was tons of people in there. I mean, it was no time.
We must be slow eaters. You know, we had some come in there and sit down. Like 4 or 5 of them come in, got their food, gobbled it up, and was gone. Me and you still sitting there. It wasn't like we was waiting on our food. We was eating.
And we didn't talk much.
Of course, we didn't get 2 tacos. I mean, we had this bowl looked like a half a gallon. I know it wasn't that much, but it was a big old bowl of, what does it have? Chicken and shrimp and steak and onion and, well, everything you can think of goes in it. And
it's kind of like a fajita bowl.
Sort of, yeah. It was good either way. So anyway, we get back over there and no Golden Girls. It was a Saturday night, and Hallmark, for some reason, don't play the Golden Girls on the weekend. So it was some kind of detective show till I went to sleep. You'd kind of crashed out over there about, I don't know, what was it, 9, 10 o'clock?
Probably 10 o'clock.
Of course, we knew time was going to change. I've been through this 59 years now, and I still screwed it up. Thinking about what time we need to get up to get over there to listen to them. And I set my clock for 5:30, thinking that would be 6:30, but it was really 4:30 old time. So I was up early. Went in there and made me a cup of coffee and looked around on Facebook and listened to you sleep and drink my coffee and wait on daylight or breaking daylight. So anyway, we need to get up and get to moving. Run down, got a cup of coffee from the big coffee maker, and then we headed toward the farm.
And we got there and it was cold.
Oh, man.
Super frost.
When it's been 60, 65, nearly 70 some mornings, and you get up and it's frosted over outside and it's 30 degrees, a cold, damp 30 degrees. Thank God the wind wasn't blowing like it was the day before, but it was cold. And, I thought I dressed warm, but I didn't bring any gloves. I did bring my turkey boots, but they're not made for cold weather. I guess people up north would laugh at us talking about 30 degrees is cold, but you got to understand, it's that's dead of winter for us most of the time.
Where the boots were cold because they'd been in the back of my truck all night.
Yeah, they'd been in the back of the truck because it was muddy from Tennessee. So sticking your feet down in there, you had to get them warmed up before your toes went numb. And I was pretty good as we walked in, because we had to walk off down that hill and do all that kind of stuff. And of course, you're excited because you're there. But the longer we stood waiting to hear something, the colder I got.
Yes, my hands were super cold.
My fingernails hurt. That's how cold I was getting. I wasn't numb, but they were starting to hurt. But then that glorious sound came from up out of the woods somewhere over in there.
Yeah, that hen, she was doing her thing.
Oh, when she went to yelping, I'm going to tell you right now, I forgot about it being cold. I was just excited. I mean,
blood was starting to boil a little bit then.
Yeah, warmed right back up. And they yelped and yelped and yelped, and more hens here and there. I mean, I don't know how many there were, but they were way off. That one was pretty close because you can hear her really good on our recording. We did record a reel, and I think I posted it as well. So, and then heard a gobble, got him on the recording. He's way off as well, somewhere over in there, but it picked it up, which I was thrilled with. But that made my whole winter. That's like Christmas morning, hear that thing gobble.
It was worth getting up and been a little cold for sure.
Yeah. Yes. We were excited, kind of piddled around. Really didn't want to leave, but we knew it was a long ride back. A little longer than we anticipated.
Well, we were trying to get to KD's restaurant.
We had to get to KD's restaurant. Folks, if you're up there, that is the breakfast place. Never had dinner there, but we're going to.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, they got a breakfast buffet. I didn't get it this time. I've had it before, but all you can eat almost anything you want. I think I just had me like a ham. It ain't a biscuit. It was on a bun, but a ham, egg, and cheese, and some home fries that were killer. Let me tell you, killer. Here I have been trying to lose all this weight, and she brought out that plate. I'm talking about real potato home fries. They had just cut them up. It was good.
Well, you did at least leave half your bun.
I did take the top side of the bun off. That made me feel better, but I'm not sure.
There wasn't no potatoes left, though. You done damage on the potatoes.
I think if the Lord said you could only eat one vegetable the rest of your life, it'd be a potato. He might have said if it's the only thing you could eat the rest of your life, it might be a potato. I mean, you can do so much with them.
Lots of ways to do potatoes.
Oh, let me tell you.
Hard to beat them fried ones, though.
But you had a couple of eggs and what?
Fried bologna.
Fried bologna, that's
my
right.
favorite breakfast meat.
You know, Jack's had that back out here, their fried bologna sandwich.
Yeah.
Not too long ago. I know you can't eat it. You've been trying to be good, but I had one. I ain't going to lie.
That's something they should keep on the menu all the time.
Well, it'll be going out. You know, didn't we get some, we got someone was headed out west last year. We stopped somewhere and they had the fried bologna.
Yep.
But later on, I stopped, and it was done gone.
Yeah, they run it like a month at a time.
They got to know people love it. Got to.
Well, I mean, I used to always get a bologna biscuit from Jack's before they started doing the breakfast sandwiches, and then I go in there one day, and there's no bologna on the menu. And I was pretty upset, to say the least. But the lady said, we just don't sell enough of it. And I'm thinking, yeah, okay. Fried bologna for breakfast.
I love it.
Me too.
That used to be, listen, we might eat bacon, but we run out of bacon. We always had some bologna to fry for breakfast, so.
That's a bad thing. I mean, I'll take it over bacon. I love fried bologna.
I like fried bologna, but I don't know about taking it over bacon now. Depending on the bacon and how it's cooked, I don't like it. I like it kind of crispy. I don't like it burnt, but I don't like it soggy. You know what I'm talking about?
Limber.
Yeah, I'm not a limber bacon guy. I'm kind of a more crispy.
Well,
not
the
burnt.
trip home, we saw some turkeys. Of course,
Oh,
we
yeah,
got in the
yeah.
traffic jam.
Oh, they
that
were
was
coming through
terrible.
Nashville. You know, we looked at the GPS. We're going to make that in 3.5 hours. We'll be at the house. And next thing we know, the little thing turned yellow, and our time just kept climbing and climbing and climbing. And we got stuck. I mean, we rode pretty good till we got, what was that, Briley Parkway,
Yeah,
where all that comes together at to head towards 65, and it was just a dead
and
stop.
there were 24 and 65 meet. That was terrible. Also,
Well, we had a couple of 18-wheelers, I think, had tried to dance or something anyways, and it looked like it had it all backed up. But we did all right. We got on down the road, and like I said, on the way, once we got out of downtown, started watching the fields, and
we
yeah,
did see a few
we
turkeys
saw a
on the
few
way
turkeys,
home.
sure did. So that always makes the ride good. It makes it better for me. I got something to look at or whatever. You did all the driving this time, which I know I'll pay for. Got a feeling I'll be handed the keys or whatever when we take off to Oklahoma this year, kind of like Kansas last year. Ain't gonna say nothing, but somebody made me drive 15 hours nonstop without helping me. That's all I got to say about that.
I did drive us home though,
Some of the
from
way,
South Dakota.
not the whole way. I drove from breakfast where we stopped in Kansas and had breakfast or something. Remember that place? I drove on down to there. Then we stopped, and then you drove us on into Missouri where we spent the night, and
That's
then you
right.
drove on in.
That's right. I forgot about us stopping that one or the first morning. Yeah.
That wasn't K-Diz family restaurant we ate at. It was all right, but it wasn't.
Well, that's the first time I'd ever seen one of those robots that bring the food to the table.
Yeah, they
That
did
was
have a
pretty
robot
cool.
waiter or waitress or whatever you want to call it, non-binary robot. Well, look,
That's
I
pretty
think
much got us caught up there.
well, we got caught up for what was going on, and I think we ought to see if we can get our special guest in here and see what they have to tell us.
I agree.
All right, folks, we're going to let you know now who our special secret guest was. He's on the line with us, calling in from down in South Alabama, the turkey man himself, Mr. Eddie Salter. How you doing tonight?
Hey, man, I'm ready to get out there and start chasing them old bad boys. I was lucky enough to do that this weekend. I got started earlier, had the opportunity to go to Florida and take one of my grandsons. And I tell you, that passing on, he was 5 years old. And I tell you what, I wouldn't took nothing to hunt. It turned out couldn't have been no better. And he ended up killing an Osceola. We went in Madison, which is about an hour kind of east of Tallahassee, and but I guess I guess that them Osceolas will move up in that area. But anyhow, we're lucky enough to persuade one to ride in that truck, and that's what we was hoping to do.
Well, I saw all the pictures of it, and I tell you what, I didn't see no happier face than that little old boy Clark. He was on cloud nine.
Oh, he was, and the neat thing about it, and of course, we tried to raise him. Ain't no tell him what he's gonna get into, but we tried to raise him right. And but now, Daddy Steve, I sat back at the blind, and they went to get the truck and drive the truck. But the landowner was sitting there listening. He could hear me calling, and turkeys gobbling. He said I had 2 or 3 other turkeys gobbling down below me that I didn't hear. But anyhow, but when Clark he went running and jumped up in that man's arm, thanked him, and that man, said he cried because the young boys and kids just don't do that no more. But he jumped and told him, "Boy, I thank you so much for letting me down here." So, hey, and that's what it's all about right there.
You're exactly right.
He's made him a lifetime friend.
Lifetime friend.
Oh, yeah.
Lifetime turkey hunter now. He's done got
got
bit by it.
Oh yeah. Well, actually, True he had killed. That's his third turkey. He killed his first turkey right there in Madison with this guy here, but it was with another friend of mine, but it was a Easter. Killed it last year, but what he done was he took one of them Cogwell, tripod, and he put a gun on it, shooting a little 410 Stevens, and of course he's shooting a heavy TS shot, but he took his phone and it tied in with the scope that was on that 410, and he could sit there and he could look at the same crosshair that Clark was looking. He could get it; it would match up, and so his daddy helped him a bunch last year. On this deal here, he had one little bitty small scopes. I don't even think of it, but it was just had that little red dot on all it had. Mm-hmm. And so Clark had to get it all lined up and do it himself, and he done it, So I was looking for him to miss it because that's the first time that he done it all by himself, basically right there. But he got that bead on it, and boy, he pulled the trigger. But these kids today now, I look back, I fussed a little bit about his brother and him playing all them video games, but they got them video games where they got, they got the little old scopes that, where they got crosshairs on them and that kind of stuff. And it teaches these kids how to hunt, how to shoot, shooting them games and stuff. And so, it wasn't nothing to him. He put that heat on that, on that turkey. We told him to put it where that red meets the black at and pull the trigger. And hey, I think we all know how easy it is to miss a turkey. And so,
I do.
Well, we're not going to get into all that too much. If I start giving you a hard time, then I'll miss the next time I go try to shoot. So, I've learned not to give somebody a hard time. And old Dustin over there now, I believe he was it last year he was in the timber business? No, it was year before.
Year before.
Yeah.
Yeah, he cut that tree smooth off, didn't he?
Oh, boy.
And
you could find that thing in the dark it didn't have no bark on it.
I know it. He knocked it smooth off, but that's like I told people a lot of times. I mean, you can look through a crack, and you're like in a barn. I've actually been to these old barns and different things and look through a crack, and you could see a whole turkey standing there. But now, could you shoot through that crack and kill him? No, you couldn't. So a lot of times, you might see around that tree and not even pay it no attention, but you can't shoot through that tree. And so I've done the same thing. I've done it. So, and I may have told y'all about that. It was a good turkey 2 years ago that I was hunting, and I really had I really wanted to kill that turkey because one of my best friends told me, said, "You won't never kill that turkey. You won't call him up," and that made me want to hunt him that much harder. But anyhow, that particular morning, I got there, and that old turkey was gobbling, and then every time I'd call to him, and he was coming, but he drawed a line. He got out there, I'm going to say about 60 steps, and I couldn't see him. He was kind of under a hill. And he kept calling, and he gobbled. And this went on for 30 minutes, seemed like. And I looked up, and here come coming up through the woods. And, boy, I turned over there, pulled my gun down, knocked the safety off. I just knew it was that gobbler. And come to find out, it was a big old possum. I mean, it looked like a 20-pound possum. I'd almost pulled the trigger on him. Well, he come up there, got in a little old bitty pine tree that I bet you, I mean, it couldn't have been 4 inches in the dimensions of it. And it didn't go up hardly 3 or 4 foot. Possums, I guess he smelled a rat or he knew something wasn't exact right. So he hit that pine tree and started climbing it. And then when he got to the top of that pine tree, it started bending over with him. And he almost touched the ground. And I was looking at that possum, and that turkey said, he done snuck up on me, and he give me that Michael Jackson moonwalk backwards, and I couldn't get that gun on him. He was gone. So, but then I wheeled and I shot and cut down another pine tree about that same dimension, but I've smooth missed that turkey. But I had a dead pine tree, and I could have brought out. And if I'd have cut it up, I probably could have had it mounted. But I went later on, and I ended up killing that turkey, and he was a good one. He didn't have any half, but he was real close. He was an old crazy Alabama turkey. I hunted that probably about 5 or 6 times, but I finally killed him. And I do that, and this would be something for the listeners too. I caught him, got him to gobbling 2 or 3 times, and I then turned and throwed that call. I pulled that mouth out of my mouth and throwed it about 10 yards over there. I do a slate that way a lot of times, but I didn't have a slate that morning. I just had a mouth call, and I hadn't done nothing but a tree call to him, and I throwed it over about 10 yards and said, I'm going to just sit here. And lo and behold, he come bebopping up through there, and I was lucky enough I'm sitting here at my house looking at him on the fireplace right now.
There you go.
And I think about him one time I look at him. Yeah, that's one my old buddy says I couldn't kill. His old boy's name was Tony. Tony says, you ain't going to kill that turkey. But anyhow, I went and showed it to him. I did kill that turkey. And, while I'm telling stories right here, I'm going to tell one. I'm going to shut up and let y'all ask some questions or whatever. I went, it's probably about 3 miles from my house. And we used to get a container. It was corporate container. It's a company named Container. And they had several paper mills around and about, but you could buy a permit from them for, I think it wasn't but about $10, and you could hunt 30,000 acres around and about here. But anyhow, it was an old area, back off in the woods here about 3 miles that a lot of folks, I don't know what was wrong with these people around here, but they decided they wanted to just go throw furniture and made a dump, pulled off the road about 300 yards and made a dump there and called that old turkey, that old dump turkey. I told my old buddy, I said, man, I've been hunting old turkey over around the dump that I can't do nothing with. He said, man, I've been hunting that turkey too. He said, I hunted him in the morning. He worked for Georgia Pacific. He said, get off in the afternoon, sometimes, and I go by there. And he said, I've been hunting that old turkey. He said, I can't do nothing with him either. And I did, so finally I went over there, and they had thinned through some pine trees. It was the first thinning, and they had on the log land, and they had pushed up a big old pile of pine tops, and right there when they got through, finishing up, and it was about a 10-foot pile, and I had eased up and got in that pile, and I could see an old turkey out there he was about 75, 100 yards out there, and I went. I went to call her, and I seen he had a hen with him, and that old hen went to answering me, and I answered her right back the same thing. She was doing just an old aggressive hen yep. She was yelping about 10 times and cutting a couple times, and I done the same thing 3 or 4 times in a row at her, and she was right back at me, and she got mad, and she broke and come right up there and got, 10 yards from me. And I looked up, and here come that old gobbler. He was coming on up through there, following that old hen, And he got in about 25, 30 yards, and I killed him. He had a 12-inch beard, had 1.5-inch spurs, and I didn't mount many turkeys back then, but I mounted that old turkey. He was a good one. But the reason I'm telling you all that story, about 2 days later, my buddy, we grew up together and played football, softball, and baseball, and everything together, and we were good friends, still good friends. But he'd come up to my house, and he said, Eddie, I just wanted to tell you, he said, I killed that old bad boy turkey over there at the dump this morning. I said, do what? He said, I killed that old bad boy turkey. I said, well, let me look at him. And he went out, he said, but so that rascal wasn't nothing but a 2-year-old turkey. And he just liked to run over me this morning. And I got to look, I said, now where did you kill him at? He said, right at that old dump where we've been hunting him at all year. I said, well, look here, come in the deep freeze. I'm going to show you, old bad boy. I'm going to show him to you. But that reason I'm telling that story, a lot of times that, just because you kill one turkey in the area, don't give up. Don't think that's the only turkey in the woods, because he went back the very next morning and a turkey was gobbling right where I killed that old bad turkey. And we hadn't been hearing but one turkey gobble. We had just heard one turkey gobble all them times that we went in there. So he just jumped right in there and going to take his place. So guys, stay listening to it. If you kill one turkey, don't mean you can't kill another in there.
So that big bad turkey, he had them all scared. They wouldn't none of them gobble or
I've done
come
that.
around.
Yeah, I have done that. Killed a turkey that was a real good turkey, not hearing any more turkey, and go in there a week later and hear 5 or 6 turkeys gobble. So, and hadn't heard of no more turkeys gobble there for a while, just only one turkey. He had them beat up. So that's what happens a lot of times. You get them old bad turkeys out of there, and then it opens it up. And, boy, you can have some fun in, because they won't be so bad. Them 2 and 3-year-old turkeys that's been beat up, they ready for a hen. They'll come on in there without too much trouble.
Well, it sounds like you've probably put a few of them away over the years.
Well, I hadn't, I'm gonna say the last 10 years I hadn't killed that many turkeys. Just about count them on both your hands. And but now, I used to love to get at them pretty hard, but I really enjoy hunting with other people. I enjoy watching them and being able to answer some questions if they got any questions that I can help them with. And the neat thing I like to talk about or like to show them is, hey, Eddie Salter gets beat up too. He don't call turkeys every time he goes into the woods. Hey, I'm just like you are. I get beat up on too, but I do let a few ride in that truck every now and then. But I love calling to a turkey. You and Dustin, both of y'all have hunted with me, and y'all know I like to call too much. And I think that's one of my biggest problems is I like to hear turkeys gobble, and I like to make them gobble. And if I learned to shut up a little bit more, I probably would have been killing a lot more turkeys over the years.
I don't know. I think me and Dustin, we had a morning with you in there one time. I guess it was year before last. We didn't get the turkeys, at 4 or 5 of them down there, but you was back behind us, and you was working that, I guess, a slate call. Had both hands going and a mouth call going or something. You made some kind of noise I never heard before, and it just lit them up. I'm going to tell you right now, that was the best hunt I've ever been on, and we didn't even kill a turkey. It was just that exciting here, listening to them, listening to you, and it was a morning I'll never forget.
Me either. It kind of looked like a freeway down there with the turkeys crossing everywhere. They were just out of shotgun range.
Oh yeah, and it was a great morning, and we I don't know, we called up 2 or 3 different bunches of turkeys, seemed like, and but we didn't kill one that morning, but we sure, and that's another thing. You don't have to kill every time you go out there to really enjoy it.
No, sir.
And when I have a morning like that, I thank the Lord for, letting me enjoy it. Getting out there in the spring of the year, what's not to love about turkey hunting? You get out there, you got owls hooting, you got cardinals singing, you got hawks. You got hens cutting and yipping. You got turkeys gobbling around. You got dogwoods blooming and other flowers just coming out in the spring of the year. All these songbirds are singing. And, man, I tell you, I just can sit back and enjoy, I can just enjoy that picture any day of the week.
Well, I think that's what all of us as turkey hunters, really, that's what we wait on all year long. That's what makes spring so special.
Well, it does. And, I have got asked a bunch that said, if you had to give up, deer hunting or turkey hunting, which one would you give up? And no questions about it. I don't make no bones about it. I'd give up deer hunting any day to be able to go out there and hear a turkey gobble, and not necessarily kill him, but just being able to fool with him and try to get in his head and try to outwit him, and and you'll win. You'll win one every now and then. And boy, I tell you what, that's what it's all about. If you do kill one, I used to be a barber, and that helped me more than anything in the world. I told them that, when old turkey, you put him in the back of the truck. I used to go to the barbershop or go to, to the cafe right there and get us a breakfast or whatever, and tell everybody, man, that old turkey jumped up on a log this morning, and I shot him off of it, and he flew across the creek. Hey, I can make up all kind of stories. And one thing about it, that turkey can't come back to life to tell them no different,
Right.
So I become Mr. Turkey Hunter that way. And I think that's the beauty part about it is we do get a chance to ad lib and stretch the truth a little bit out there on these turkeys. And for me, anyhow, I really enjoy it. Tell them, well, I called him away from a bunch of hens. Every now and then I might do that, but chances are that ain't gonna happen too many times. That old hen's gonna win that battle.
Yeah, it's hard for them to leave the real thing. No matter how good you think you sound, you ain't got the looks that they're looking at.
Well, and two, you were talking about me, and I was running a slate, and I like to use 2 strikers on it a lot of times. And doing that fighting purr, and I take my mouth call, and run it too, and then I'll take my old hat and I'll put that slate call down, and I bump my legs, sound like they're fighting. And especially that's something you really want to remember in the early part of the season, because turkeys are still, they trying to, establish the dominancy and, see who's the dominant turkey, and the dominant turkey gets the hens. And so a lot of times they do a lot more fighting than we think. And it's more so in the first of the year than it is in the tail end of the year. So, and not only, doing that fighting purr, if you can learn to, if you can learn to run 2 calls or slate or the mouth call at the same time, I highly recommend you work on that. I really, a lot of people will tell you that calling ain't, it ain't what it's cracked up to be. You ain't got to be that good a caller to kill turkeys, and I'll agree with that. But let me tell you, I think the better you can call, the more you can improve, the more you practice, the more success you're going to have. And, of course, now, and you got, and both of y'all got one of them new little old aluminum boxes I got, them little small boxes. Man, I tell you what, turkeys love that thing, boy, I'm telling you. And you learn to run a mouth call with it, y'all going to crank up some turkeys and going to kill some turkeys with it this year. That's going to be a call. Y'all going to call me up and say, man, Eddie, I'm glad you talked us into this one here. And I can't wait to hear them phone calls on that deal.
I don't think you had to talk us into it. All we had to do is hear you play it once or twice, and they was one going to be going home with me.
I like that high pitch of that aluminum. I mean, it definitely has its own unique sound.
You're right, it does. And, and that's sometimes, that's what you got to go to as far as, sounding so much like a turkey, but do a little bit something that sounds a little bit unique, like you said. And that aluminum, I'm telling you, that aluminum will hammer down. And especially, I've had turkeys out there, that I've been fooling with 30 minutes or so, and I hadn't used that aluminum on, I've just been waiting and waiting. I've been trying to get him to come in, and he won't come in. But all at once, he quits gobbling. You call to him, and he cuts you off. But then next time you call, and he don't say a word, you get a little louder, and he still don't come in there, and you sit there, and then maybe you call her 2 or 3 more times, and you'll say, well, Lord, I believe this turkey's going to left me. And your patience will run thin, and you'll stand up just to stretch your legs and look around, see what he was hung up on out there. And then all at once, pop, 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 he flies over the top of the pine trees. He's gone. And how many times does that happen? A bunch of times.
You're
and,
right.
And what's good about that little old box call, especially coming off that little high pitch and then break on into that old mama hen. Yeah, let me see if I can. I think I got that box right here that I can reach in here.
Get
and
over there and get that thing. Let us hear it.
Yeah, I'll reach in here and let me make sure I'll dig it out of here. This is a box that I was over in Mississippi last week or week before last, and this is the one I picked out I was going to hunt with this year, and I left it in the sporting goods store, and I had to call that guy. I said, look here, what's it going to cost for you to send me that box call back over here? But anyhow, here it is right here. You hear that key there?
Oh, yeah.
And that real high, that key, you come off that key. And what I'm doing is I'm carrying it way out there, and I'm just kind of just moving it about maybe not even a quarter of an inch. And after I get that key, then I bring it all the way across and touch the other side. And I promise you, when you do that high-pitched key like that, he's going to gobble. That don't mean he's going to come in and you're going to kill him every time. But if he don't gobble, chances are you ain't going to kill him anyhow. But if he gobbles, you're going to stay there and you may have a chance to kill him. And I've been out there, and y'all know that I can run a mouth call pretty decent, and I can cut most of the time, about 90% of the time, and make turkeys gobble by cutting to them and coming in there doing a little bit of aggressive yapping. And I have been, I've been running this little box for a couple of years. I had it in Florida last year with me, and I've been in some areas that I'd owl hooted, I'd crow called, I'd done everything in the world, run my mouth call, I'd cut on it. And I know it's a turkey down here. They just will not gobble. And then take that old box call and start coming in there. To me, it's got what I call that old pleading yelp. I mean, it's got that old hen has got an attitude right there. That aluminum just gives that old call an attitude. It's kind of like my wife. She's down in the den listening to me, but a lot of times I'll be talking and, not really paying her a lot of attention. I'll be got my mind on something else, and she realizes that. She realizes I ain't been listening, but, and she'll, she'll say, what do you think about what I was talking about? I ain't got a clue. And most of the time I'm pretty quick on them feet. I'll tell her, I heard you first time, but tell me again. I want to make sure I got everything straight as it needs to be. But that voice changes, and she gets an attitude with that voice, and I know I'm in trouble. And I'm, yes, ma'am. I'm listening now. Yes, ma'am. I'm going to get it right. And that's that same way with that turkey. When the old turkey gets to calling and she puts that attitude, you're going to get that turkey's attention. He's going to say, yes, ma'am, I'm coming over there. And so learn to put a little bit of attitude. If you're running a mouth call, put a little bit of attitude with it, and then learn to use these calls. And I tell you what, and if they ain't got one of these aluminum boxes, you check with your local sporting goods stores, because I got them scattered around, and if they don't, you don't find in the sporting goods stores, you go to Eddie the Turkey Man, or go with Eddie Salter Game Calls, either one, and you can pull it up on the website, and I'll fix you up with one of these aluminum calls right there. You're gonna love it.
Well, I love mine. I'm not gonna lie. I love it. I've been practicing with it real regular.
I think it's going to be.
Well, I'm waiting on that phone call from you and your man there. Have y'all heard any turkeys gobble?
Yeah, we actually got to hear a couple birds gobble up in Kentucky over the weekend.
Man, that's good up in Kentucky. That in that colder weather up there, that's real good.
And it was cold Sunday morning, I'll tell you.
We didn't. We just hunted Saturday, and that boy killed a turkey, and we come on out from. We could have hunted in Florida. He could have killed another one, but I figured that we were gracious enough to get one. That guy gave us one, and I didn't want to be greedy and try to kill another. Well, help him. Let's see him kill another. So we just come on out of there, and I was gonna go this morning, and I said, well, it's pretty cold, and but I just talked to a boy a while ago, and he said he had heard the turkey gobble this morning, and I think I'm going to go in the morning. I think I'm going to go on my place in the morning. And by the way, I've been doing some management stuff. I've been disting up a bunch of food plots around and about. I think that's one of the best things in the world that you can do is disc them up. And of course, I planted a few shufas, but they love that plowed dirt. Them old turkeys will get out there and they'll go to scratching, and they love that plowed dirt. So, if you got a tractor and a disc and around some of your areas, if you want to help your turkeys, you want to help keep them in your area, you start disting up a little bit around and about. And I stayed on the tractor till about 7 o'clock tonight, and I was out there and trying to get as much done before this rain. Hopefully, it's going to be a couple more days, and but I like about 10 minutes getting through, and other than that, I'm going to be good to go.
Well, you just get on up at the crack of dawn in the morning, get out there, and I guarantee you're going to hear one or two.
Well, I'm sure going to go, and I tell you what now, and there's another tip I can give these boys out there that listen to the podcast. Get on up now and start going out there and listen to turkey gobble, and sit around and listen to him and try to hear him if he gobbles and he flies down and heads south every morning. Now, if you go in there and you head south, and then you go in there 2 days later and he heads south again, and then go in there about 5 days later and he's still heading south, well, go in there about 10 o'clock, 10, 11 o'clock, and see why he's going south. You might find a little area in there about the big as my house here that he's been going in there and strutting, and that's where he's been meeting up a lot of hens in them areas. So it's little strutting zones, and a lot of times I find areas that turkeys like that, and then I go in there opening day of season, and I'm going to set up on the south side. I'm definitely ain't going to set up on the north side and try to call him in a direction that he ain't been going. So you think about that. If he's been heading south, you need to get down on the south side and let him, I have over the years just sat down there and waiting on it to break daylight and hear old turkey gobble. I said, yeah, there he is, getting my old mouth call out and go to, getting it ready to get it, loosen up a little bit. And all at once I hear him, he hits the ground, hear him gobble. And it hadn't even got daylight real good. I can't see too good. I don't want to call yet because I'm scared I may not can see him. And then he gobbles again. And it ain't but a minute he gobbles again, and I look up and I can't believe it. There's a vision. There's that turkey coming right there. And I hadn't even called to him. Just got my mouth call in my mouth. Hadn't even called to him. And he walks on up there, and I shoot him. Boom. And I look up and say, thank you, good Lord. That's a gift. We don't get many of them. And I want to thank him for that. And but going back, that goes back to your scouting. That goes back to knowing where you're hunting and what area you're hunting in, and knowing something that he likes to go to. So that's something you might want to look at, and now's the time to start getting out. Now, don't get out there and start calling to your turkeys. Don't get out there and start calling to them. You don't want to get a call and start calling that turkey till you put a gun in your hand, because you don't want to get him wised up. A lot of these old boys, well, I go out there in the woods and I'll call, but I'm gonna call my buddies' turkeys. I'm gonna go hear them, or a hunting club. I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna leave them turkeys alone opening day, and I'm gonna go somewhere else. Well, they'll have them so messed up. When you call to them, you'll shut everything in the woods up right there around them. Maybe going to scare them to death. Don't do that. And of course, Kentucky's a state that if you go in and you call before season, like I'm talking about, they'll write you a ticket in Kentucky for calling to a turkey before season comes in. I don't know if you knew that.
No,
but that's
I
it.
didn't know that. No, I sure
Yes.
didn't.
Well, you can ask Alex Rutledge that.
Uh-oh.
Alex Rutledge done that, and he went out there and posted it on a HS video. He really didn't do it. He kind of made out like he was calling turkeys before season comes in, but he had drove from Missouri, and he was over there, and it was like the first morning, and they said, well, we're going to do a TV. We're going to talk about getting ready to go hunting, and said, we're going to get out and try to call, and they made some turkeys gobble. Well, that was, like on a Monday or something, and then that Saturday, I think he had a seminars at Uncle Lee's. That's right there in Greenville, Mississippi, right there. I don't know if y'all know where that's at or not, but that's old Wing Supply. Used to have a magazine, Wing Supply. Alex was doing a seminar in there, and he had just started his seminars, and here come two game wardens in here. Said, hey, you Alex Rutledge? He said, yes, I am. He said, well, I hate to inform you, but we're fixing to handcuff you for calling turkeys before season come in. And he didn't, but yet they wrote him a ticket and he got out of it. But, he didn't know that you couldn't do that.
Well, they said it changed last year, but, they've made it well clear to everybody here in Alabama, you better not be on a management area with no calls in your pocket before season. They're not allowing that. You can still do it on private land, I guess, if you want to go out there and mess up your own turkeys, but they stopping it here on the management areas.
Well, they need to. We don't need to do it on private ground either.
No,
we don't need to mess with it turkey till we put a gun in our hand. And so.
Well, that old boy next door, he can mess them up and run them over on my place. That's what I'll tell him. But,
yeah, you're
right.
Well,
You're right, though. You're better off just to listen. You can blow that owl hooter and get one to gobble if you want to hear one listen. So.
Crow call, owl call, yes, sir, and a hawk call, any of them right there will work, But leaving turkey calls in your pocket.
Well, it sounds like in Kentucky, you better leave them in a truck. Because they catch you. I guess they catch them in your pocket. They write you a ticket out. Here they said they would. Somebody told me that they got checked and game wardens made them turn their pockets inside out just scouting around on the management area the other day.
No kidding.
Yep. You ain't got, no gun or no, for sure you wouldn't have a gun, but they made sure they didn't have a call in their pocket. So.
Well, I tell you, talking about turkeys, though, I've been seeing some turkeys. I've had some cameras out. A lot of times, this time of the year, I'll put several cameras out. And down there where you hunted at with Steve and him down there in Florida, we had a lot of cameras down there, and he's been getting some pictures down there too. He got a lot of turkeys this year, and he did get that property I was telling you about. I was hoping we'd get another 1,000 acres, and he just got it. It's got like 2 miles of creek bottom down through it. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah,
he thinks it's going to be good, and it's going to be kind of like walking up down that tree, cutting and running and resetting up, and it's going to kind of look like that timber like we hunted in there on that swamp, that big pretty timber.
Oh yeah,
it's going to look like that. So we ain't had a bunch that we could cut and run on. So I'm excited about that. I like to get out there. I don't like to hunt that blind, but you got to do what you got to do. And I think it's deer hunting for turkeys. But that's the way to get it done. And you can't argue with success.
No.
So when you go hunting with somebody else, you don't guide the guide. So that's what I don't do. When I'm down there with Steve, I let him tell me what we need to do. And
well,
and that's what
we're
I
the same way. When we're with you, we're looking for you. You just tell us what you want. You might ask, but 9 times out of 10, we're going to turn around and tell you, you know it. And that's the way it is. Like Steve, he's there every day. He knows what's going on down there on that property.
Yeah, Steve does a great job. Steve does a great job.
So
he does, and that's what it's all about, is doing your homework, guys, and don't wait till 2 days before season comes in. Just like me today, I'm out trying to do my homework. Our season don't come in to the 25th, so we got about 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's getting
today
close.
makes 2 weeks before it comes in. So
Well, that's what we did this past weekend. You know, we're up in Tennessee, up in Kentucky, just trying to do a little homework, get a game plan together, see what we can see. I mean, they still can move around a little bit on us, but still, woodsmanship to me is probably more important than the calling. You got to be, just like you said, you want to be where they want to be. If you know where they're going and what they're doing.
Yes, sir. Hey, you still got that property in Selma right around there?
Sure do.
In that hunting club?
Yep.
That ought to be. I've been hearing up in that area there around Camden from there on down, and I've been hearing that the turkeys have made a great comeback. Had good hatch, 2 years ago, and but now let me tell you something else that was weird. A guy, let me see. It was in Conecuh County where I live at down here in Evergreen. They saw a gobbler with 3 hens, but the little baby turkeys didn't look like they were over 2 months old. So it looked like they were hatched off in December, believe it or not.
Really?
Hatched off in December, probably. They would, who would have thought that they would have been lit, but that turkey was strutting behind them hens there. But I would have never thought that they would have hatched off that late.
I've never heard of that, but
And let me tell you something else. I seen a picture. A boy sent me a picture today that it was a fawn feeding under a feeder that was just full of spots. So he had to be born, or she had to be born in the 1st of January herself, or whatever. That doe had that little one at that time. So that's probably getting bred in August.
Yeah.
For her to have that was somewhere in that neighborhood. So that's weird too. Never seen little fawn deer with spots on them this time of the year.
No, I have never. I've seen them, laid up I've seen them up to November before, but I've never seen them this time of the year.
Nope. So, I don't know. I don't know what that is, and it could have been too. Also, sometimes the yearlings could have just kept on, and then they finally, they come in season, and that buck, he was willing to, take her up on it, and who knows? It could have been a young doe, or it is one of them freak things, like that turkey. That had to be a freak thing too. They normally wouldn't be breeding no hen that time of the year for them to have that, So,
well, tell us a little bit about your season this year. Where are you planning on heading out to? You traveling around? I know you're going to Florida, but
yeah, I'm gonna go to Florida 2 different times. I'm actually gonna go back to Florida. I'm gonna hunt down there for about a week, and then I'm gonna come home, and actually I'm gonna come home and get ready for the youth season here in Alabama. After I come home from Florida, I'm gonna come and take my grandson to Alabama, and then of course we'll have opening season here in Alabama. But I think the 6th, maybe the 6th, 7th, and 8th, somewhere in that neighborhood, I'm headed to Kentucky. I'm gonna take that little rascal up there, see if I can get him on a turkey up there too. And so hey, Papa like to not made it this year. My old health was so bad, and I figured I better try to carry that boy hunting every chance I get now, because I may not be around anymore. At least I can get him started in a good way anyhow. So, but anyhow, I'm going to Kentucky, and then I'm actually I'm actually going to hunt Missouri, and then I'm pretty sure I'll hunt Nebraska also, and then and that's probably going to do me in right there. I mean, I'm going to hunt some here and in Alabama the whole year, and so, but I'm going on into Missouri and hunt Missouri, and then I'm going to go on into Nebraska and hunt it.
You catching up with Alex up there in Missouri? Or
no, I'm not catching with Alex. I got another boy that used to work with Hunter Specialty. His name was Kyle Hicks, and we're good friends, and he lives up there, and he actually is in the real estate business. He buys farms, and we don't never get to hunt the same farm, but we've hunted some good farms over the years, and he's just now got 2 new farms that we're going to be able to hunt on this year. So I'm excited about that. And so, hopefully, last year I hunted South Dakota, and I just didn't want to hunt them hills and hollers. But y'all did too.
We did. We was up there at the same time you were, but we was about 200-300 miles apart. So
yeah.
There's some mountains up there. Them hills aren't. They ain't Alabama hills. That's for sure.
No, they'd like to kill me up there. I said, good Lord, let me get out from up here, and I won't come back. And of course, them boys up there that I was hunting with some Indian folks and different things, but they big time into fanning turkeys. That Indian guy told me that for me to leave my calls in the truck, and I said, sir, I make turkey calls to sell. I ain't coming out here and leaving in the truck. He said, well, on this hunt right here, just leave them in the truck. I had another man and a wife who was hunting. I said, well, y'all can go chase them. I ain't going with you. I ain't going down there. I ain't leaving my turkey calls in the truck. But anyhow, they went down and they run the turkeys off, and they got back. And I said, well, if I'd went with you, we might have could have set up about 200 yards shy, and I might have could have called them in there. I said, them other ones I've been calling too. I've been calling a few in every now and then, and so they like it pretty good. But the guy, he's been successful, and he don't even own a turkey call. So, but I believe in calling to a turkey. I enjoy watching him strut, and I'm not going to fan the turkey. I'm going to leave him. I'm going to let him be. But sometimes, you get one to ride in that truck. You got to do what you got to do that. So, I'm not going to fault a guy. I'm going to let him be, I'm going to pat him on the back. So, go get him, boy, and I'm going to promote hunting. I'm not going to downplay anybody any way they hunt. But, here in Alabama, they can't do that. And I'm glad of it. I'm glad we can't use that fan. We can't crawl on them turkeys. Because, you get, that's what happened a few years ago. That's why they banned it, because, a boy got killed in Alabama because of that.
Yep.
And, so, using decoys, I'm okay with that, especially when you got kids out there. And, I've used them and still use them. But, if they told me tomorrow I couldn't use them in Alabama no more, I know we can't use them the first 10 days, but we're going to ban them, for the whole season. I wouldn't cry about it because I grew up not using them.
Now,
but
I was going to say, many years you couldn't use them in Alabama.
Absolutely. And I think, for kids and, it really, to be honestly, it helps out a lot, but it's not no miracle worker. But a lot of times, just this weekend now, them old hens jumped in there where that decoy was at. We had a decoy setting out. And the main thing I wanted to set it out was where that young boy, my grandson, could really take his time. 'Cause I knew it was going to take time for him to get that bead on him, and that's what happened. He come up there, he hit that decoy so hard he knocked him off the stakes, hit him twice.
Wow.
But he finally got him, got that red dot on him, and he pulled. I was worried about it. I kept telling him, no, wait. I was scared he was going to kill a hen. Them hens was all around, but they did separate far enough. And when he pulled the trigger, we didn't get no hen shots. So I was glad of that. But that's the only thing you got to watch. Sometimes you get excited and you go to pulling the trigger and you don't pay attention to what's going on behind it. 10 or 15 yards behind it. And it's been a lot of hens get killed that way over the years.
Especially with TSS now, because it'll reach out there. You got one 25, 30 yards, you might shoot something 50 yards behind you. You just don't know.
You're right. And but ain't it exciting when they do come up there and hit an old decoy or whatever? And I tell you, I love everything it is about turkey hunting. When you watch them strut, and the only thing bothers me sometimes is get one come in close enough, maybe behind you or to the side, and you hear him drum, and you can't see him, but you hear that drum. I mean, it's just vibrating your head, your hat shaking. He's so close, and that'll unnerve you a little bit right there. But
that's my favorite feeling, is that drumming.
Oh, yeah, that's what keeps us going, though.
It sure does. It sure does. And I'll tell you, before we get off here, we'd be remiss not to congratulate you on the award you got this year up in Nashville. What was that? The National Wild Turkey. Call-in Hall of Fame.
Turkey Call Hall of Fame, and I've it's been many years I flew them old contest, and I never did get into a contest to say I won a contest. I got in it. I said, if I get in this contest, it's going to help me become a better turkey caller, and hopefully I become a better turkey hunter. And it really, I think it did help me out. I think calling, I think practicing, the better you can call, I think the more successful you'll be. And I tell you what, I was very humbled, and I tell you what, I really appreciate the opportunity, and I thank NWTF for having that. And I done that for many years. I traveled around all over the world competing in them contests, and enjoyed every minute of it. And I know I probably wore my poor wife to death in calling in that, and calling with them callers and stuff, because that's something you got to practice with it. And nowadays it's like a machine. You got to just about be a machine to win it right now. And back when I was winning, I think, well, I know you can miss a call or two here and there and still win a contest, and I was very thankful to be able to win a few contests. I won the world in '85, and I won it again in '89, and won several other contests, and in the NWTF placed in that a bunch of times. Never did win the National Wild Turkey Federation, but I placed in it a bunch of times, and but I was so close, but yet I was still out of it. But and one time in Arkansas, I don't know, it was in the late '80s, I think, or maybe the early '90s. I was in the prelims. I was 35 points ahead of everybody. Wasn't nobody close to me. And then I think I come in third place the next day. They changed up all the judges and went with new judges. And boy, I wish they'd have kept them judges was there that day. I would have won that. I would have won that NWTF. But anyhow, it's been good to me. And the most rewarding thing is I've met a lot of nice people, and I have asked a lot of questions. I got a chance to ask old Ben Roger Lee a lot of questions, and he used to call in them, and Dick Kirby, called Tom Stuckey, just a bunch of different good guys that had called and had won the NWTF, and asked them a bunch of questions, and I learned a lot from them, and it was very enjoyable, and I'm very thankful and very honored for them to let me become one of the three. There ain't but three people in the United States every year that gets that, and I was one of them this year. And you think about all the turkey hunters and all the turkey callers in the United States, and I'm I was in the top three on getting that award. So, man, I'm thankful for that.
Well, I think you deserved it. You probably should have been number one when they started it, in my book, because I've been following you a long time. I ain't no young guy. I'll be 59 here 1st of May. But I guess I got to following you about 89. I guess that's kind of, I was out of high school, and there wasn't no turkeys up this way, but I got into it and trying to kill one. I hunted a lot of years without killing one. But yeah, you was the guy I looked up to every time I could get to a seminar you put on. I don't care if it was at Mark's Outdoors or the turkey show they had in Birmingham for a while or the deer show. I was always there.
Yeah, I remember seeing you a bunch. I was just tickled to death to get to hunt with you and Dusty down there down in Florida right there, and maybe we'll get a chance to do it again. We talked about doing it in Alabama, so but maybe I'll check with y'all in Kentucky. Now, how far are y'all from Bowling Green?
Oh, you know more about it than I do.
Yeah, we're actually on I-24. We're Western Kentucky, so I'm sure
y'all down around KD's. Y'all around KD's over in that area, or what?
That's where
right
we're
in that
at.
general area right there.
That's where no night in hell's at right there. I'm about an hour and a half from y'all. That's about
Okay.
where I'm at. About an hour and a half from y'all down there. But now y'all in a great country right there. It's turkeys scattered all up and down in there. So, and I tell you what, right now, I'm gonna say Kentucky's better than Tennessee. And so, you know, we don't want to talk too much about it because we don't want to invite the world to come up there. But no, I don't mind it a bit in the world. There's some good public ground in Kentucky right now too, around and about. And so, you ever get a chance, they listen to this podcast. They need to check out Kentucky. That's for sure.
Yeah, they can check it out next year, not this year.
Yeah, you don't want them checking out this year, right?
Well, if we can't get together up there and hunt, maybe we'll be, I don't know, hour and a half apart. Maybe we can meet up for dinner or something, you know, some in between hunts or some kind of deal.
That sounds good to me. All right, well, let's stay in touch, and God bless, and maybe y'all kill a 30-pound turkey up there this year.
Well, we hope so. We hope Clark gets him one too. We'll see
All
old
right,
Pawpaw.
We appreciate
There you
you.
go.
We appreciate you being
All
on
right,
the
buddy.
podcast.
Hey, I appreciate you. Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all giving me a holler at, and don't forget me. We'll be about mid-season. We'll be ready to catch it up again. All right.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank y'all. Now, appreciate it. Yes, sir.
All right, people. There it was. You heard from the master himself, the turkey man, Mr. Eddie Salters. Number one guest. I hope you enjoyed it. I sure did.
Yeah, and once again, we'd like to thank Eddie for taking time. I mean, he's always busy doing something, speaking engagements, selling a lot of calls,
Making calls.
and
Well, tonight you heard him. He was on a tractor till 7:00. So
yeah. It sounds like if he'd have got there 10 minutes earlier, that may have been where we talked to him earlier, held him up.
That's right.
But yeah, we appreciate everybody that's listening each week and starting to follow us. We're trying to get a whole lot better at putting things on Instagram and Facebook and social media platforms, and we added
iHeartRadio, supposedly Pandora,
and YouTube Music.
YouTube Music. Google is dropping theirs, and there's going all to YouTube. I still think I've got to log back in there and publish everything we've done. So it might not be there yet, but it'll be there very soon.
So if there's a platform that we're not on that, you listen to or follow or whatever, let us know. Send us a message on Messenger or comment on one of our Facebook posts or Instagram, and we will try to make that happen.
Well, I don't think there's much we can do to follow up when you've had the master on. Do you?
No, I think this was a great first guess. I mean, Eddie's become a great friend of ours over the years, and we've hunted with him several times. Sounds like we might get a chance again to hunt with him.
I hope so.
I do too. He's definitely a legend in the sport. I mean, he's given his whole life to turkey hunting. So,
well, all right, people. I guess we're gonna get on out of here. If you ain't got anything else you want to broadcast to the world,
I think I'm good.
all right, let's get out of here. We'll see you in about a week, people. Thank you.